I'm your host, Raykel. This podcast is to help you experience being blessed that transcends a mere hashtag. Let me add my disclaimer like I do every week. I'm not an evangelist, preacher, prophet, or Bible scholar. I'm a God-worshiping, Jesus-loving, Bible-believing, New Thought Christian who believes that God blesses us according to our faith and how we work His principles. So if you're ready to be encouraged and grow your faith by hearing how God is blessing His children, then you are in the right place. I'm broadcasting on WYTV7, Christian Broadcasters Network, a nonprofit charitable radio broadcast with a mission to empower, encourage, and educate. Donations are always welcome to help further the mission. Please donate at www.wytv7.org. Okay, my guest to start off the year. We're in January. We've been on break, and everybody is thinking about New Year's resolutions, new you, and all of this. So I have some people this month that are going to help with that. And the first one is Jack Roberts. He is my church member, but not just that, he's my friend, and he is the author of the Science of Affirmation, Your Power for Creating the Life You Deserve and Desire. Welcome, Jack. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raykel. It's a pleasure being on the show.
Okay, so tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, Raykel, first of all, I'm honored that I am your first guest of the new year. That's exciting. So thank you for that. To talk a little bit about myself, I am a spiritual teacher. I am also a spiritual coach, spiritual life coach, and an author, as you mentioned. And really, my mission on the planet here is to help people to find the tools and use the strategies that's going to help them to create the kind of life that we are all here to have.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So we are both members of Understanding Principles Church in Inglewood, California. So I was there, I guess probably a year before you. I joined. What made you come to Up Church?
Well, Up Church is a part of the New Thought philosophy movement, and I've been in New Thought for well over 20 years. I was listening to a podcast with Reverend Galen McDowell, and he was interviewing one of the ministers, Reverend Sherry James, and when I heard her talking, I was like, wow, this woman really knows what she's talking about. And this church is in Inglewood. And I said to my wife, hey, let's go and check this out. And we walked through the doors. We had a wonderful experience, and we've been back ever since.
Yes, I remember. And you joined a class like the very next week. You joined class with us. Yeah.
We got into classes right away.
Yeah, I love Up Church because of the classes and the teaching, but the love that we experience. I mean, everybody is very loving. It's not a fake. It's everybody is so loving and encouraging. So, all right, let's get into affirmations because it's the new year, and everyone has heard about affirmations. I've seen it on movies where I remember being Mary Jane. She would put like an affirmation on her mirrors and all that stuff. So your book, The Science of Affirmation, help us out a little bit. Why affirmations? Why do people do that? I mean, is it just something that's like wishful thinking? What is it?
That is probably the best question that you can ask. What is an affirmation? And yes, this is the time of the year that people are thinking about what it is that they want for their lives, what they want to be different, what they want to accomplish, or what they want to let go of. And so this is the perfect time to talk about them. And I was on a quest several years ago because I had been hearing about affirmations, and I was using affirmations, and I was telling other people to use affirmations, but I realized one day I don't really understand how they work. So I decided to go on a mission to really get an understanding of what affirmations are all about and how they work. And this was, wow, this was about 11 years ago or so. And I found out that there wasn't, at the time, there wasn't a whole lot of information out there about how affirmations work. And I looked in all kinds of different places, and I did find a lot of books, but all of the books were just books filled with affirmations, but nothing really explained them. So there's a story behind it, but to make a long story short, Spirit told me, write yourself. And, you know, I had no idea what I was supposed to do with that information. I was like, I'm looking for it. How can I write about something that I'm trying to figure out myself? But, you know, that's how God works. God works through us. And so through me, the words were given and put on the page. So, you know, sometimes I'll say, it's not my book. You know, God gave it to me. I just wrote it.
Yes, I love that. What Reverend Deli used to say, coming up through me to me.
Coming up through me to me, absolutely. So let me see, you asked a question in there and I'm not sure I answered it. So, so what is an affirmation?
Yes.
That was my big question as well. And I found out that, yes, affirmations are those wonderful little sayings that you write down and you paste up on your bathroom mirror and you repeat it every morning. And that is definitely an affirmation. But what I've come to discover is that affirmations are so much more than that. So let me back up a step and tell you what the real purpose of an affirmation is and the definition of an affirmation. If we start with the word affirm, which is the root word of affirmation, the word affirm simply means yes.
Okay.
Or to make something firm. And so an affirmation is a declaration that is saying, yes, this is what I feel. Yes, this is what I want. Yes, this is what I believe. And that's what an affirmation is. But it goes so much further than words that we might write out on a piece of paper. Because even before we write the words, it starts off as a thought. And so our thoughts are also affirmations. Our thoughts are affirmations whether we write them down or not. And so when I teach people about using the science of affirmations, and this is why it's a science, because it starts with your thinking. When I teach people about how to use affirmations, I let you know it all starts with what you are thinking. And whether what you're thinking is quote unquote good or bad, whether what you're thinking is going to help you to move your life forward or keep you stuck, those are your affirmations.
That's good. So basically what you're saying is not even about the writing it down, it's about the thought.
It starts with the thought. Now the writing down is important too. The writing down gives you another tool. It gives you something to look at, something to remind you of what it was that you want to stay focused on. But it goes even further than that, Raykel. So it's your thoughts,
okay,
it's your words, it's also your feelings.
Okay.
What you're feeling inside of you is an affirmation of what you really believe.
Right.
So your affirmations are your thoughts, your words, your feelings, your beliefs, your conversations, your actions or lack of actions. In fact, everything about who you are and what you do, and what you feel, everything about you are your affirmations about life.
Okay, so that was deep. And I think that is like really the perfect time before we go into some actual affirmations to really talk about the aspect that I had no idea about until I joined Up Church, denials. Because you said that the affirmation is everything that you think, do, and all that. And so we are affirming things that we may not want to affirm. You say, because affirmations is yes, we are saying yes to some things we don't want in our lives. So talk about that real quick. So how do we stop going the wrong way? You know, stop affirming the stuff that we want to say no to.
Yes, so you have to really be paying attention to what your thoughts are, because that's where everything is rooted. That's where it all starts. And you have to pay attention to that. And the easy way to find out if you have affirmations that are keeping you stuck is to look around, look at your life and say, well, where am I stuck? Mm-hmm. Where am I having challenges? Where are things not going the way I would like them to go? And so that's going to give you a picture. It's going to give you a pathway to what it is that you are believing in your thinking, and that's what's keeping you where you are. Once you have identified that, then we come to what we talk about in New Thought as denials. Now, I don't talk about denials in my book, and there's no reason that I don't. When I wrote the book, I was not aware of the concept of denials. As I started to study them, what I realized is that denials, as is explained in New Thought, is really just another form of affirmations.
Yes.
And I'll show you what I mean. And it's okay that they're called denials. I don't have a problem with that. But they're really another form of affirmation. So I'll give you one just as an example. There is a woman by the name of Emily Cady who wrote a book many years ago that is used as a primary text in a lot of New Thought centers and a lot of teaching classes. And she wrote about denials and affirmations. And one of her denials was pain, sickness, poverty, old age, and death cannot master me, for they are not real. That's what you call a denial. And so the whole purpose of saying something like that is to recognize this is a problem, this is getting in my way, and so I need to realize that this isn't real for this particular affirmation. These things aren't real, these things are not from God, these things cannot master me. So in saying that, that helps you to clear out that particular belief that may be blocking you. And so that's why it's called a denial, because you're denying that something is real. And as far as you're concerned, you are deciding at this point that it's not real.
Okay. Now, you know, I know people are like, wait a minute, old age is real. But I think what I'm hearing, and from what I've been learning, yes, you are growing, your age is increasing, but you don't necessarily have to be old. And so, and that age being, you know, oh, I'm too old for this. I just turned 50 and I've never been married. You know, I'm thinking, oh, I'm too old for a wedding. Lies. That, you know, what is that about? I'm not too old for a wedding. Or is it like, I'm too old to start a new job? You know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. All of these kind of things. But it's like, yeah, my age is increasing, but I'm not old, and that shouldn't stop me from, you know, exploring other things and changing my career or doing, you know, starting my business or anything else because of age.
Right. It's the whole idea that we attach to certain words. So you explained that perfectly. So in that respect, old age is not real, because my getting older is not going to stop me from doing what I want to do.
Right.
So you're right on the money with that.
Right. I just want to say that because I know people was like, wait a minute, that's real. But no, it's what we attach to it, though.
It is.
Yeah.
And when it comes to what we call real, anything that I say is real or that you say is real is real. Mm-hmm. But it's only real for me, or it's only real for you.
Right.
Because you and I can have two different opinions of what's real. Mm-hmm. You know, so someone, for example, may be talking about circumstances in, you know, the neighborhood that they live in, and they'll even make the statement, well, you know, that's real. But everybody in the everybody in the neighborhood doesn't feel that way.
Right. 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 You're right. You're right.
You know, we're struggling, or we're poor, or, you know, we can't ever get ahead, and that's real. Well, it might be real for you.
Right. Right. But it's not real for everybody.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
I get it. Right.
So we define our own reality. And when we define our own reality, that sets the course for the direction that our life goes. So affirmations are just one of many tools that help us to define what our reality is. Now, I want to go back to denials for just a moment, because I said I look at them as another form of affirmations, and I have what I call 3 forms of affirmations. So denials are clearing affirmations. They clear out those beliefs and those ideas that are not serving you, so that you can set the stage for replacing that with something that is going to serve you. And it may be another form of affirmation is a manifesting affirmation. And a manifesting affirmation is an affirmation where you have something in particular that you want. You want to manifest this. You want this to show up in your life. So, for example, you might have the affirmation, all of my debts are paid. That's a manifesting affirmation. You're laughing. I'm going to come back to that.
That's it. Yes,
come back to that. And then the third type of affirmation is a centering affirmation. And a centering affirmation is an affirmation that you use to reclaim a particular mindset. So a centering affirmation might be, for example, I remain calm in the face of stressful situations. So you have centering, manifesting, and clearing affirmations. Now, you chuckled about all my
I was just chuckling because I needed it, because that's I need to say that, man. I need to say that every day. But wait, let me go back real quick, because you said there's clearing, manifestation, and centering. So it sounds like to me that you want to clear, then you want to center, but most of us always only focus on manifestation. And I think that may be an issue, because we can't manifest what we truly don't believe because we haven't cleared it. I'll give you an example. Growing up, I used to always hear, all men are dogs. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but I used to hear that all the time. My mother, men just dogs. You can't trust them. Yada, 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 all of this stuff, right? But now that kind of sucked in. So I didn't expect for men to be faithful, which meant, of course, why you want to be married to somebody that's not faithful. So when I think about why, when people ask me why I'm not married, could be that thought, all men are dogs, are part of the issue. So if I want to be in a loving relationship, then the first thing I have to do, as opposed to just doing the manifestation that a man, the love of my life is going to come in, I have to clear that belief, that affirmation that all men are dogs.
That's true. If you believe that belief is standing in your way. Mm-hmm. Because just because you heard something all your life doesn't mean that you believe it. It just means.
But I believe it.
So let me give you another example. I mean, you're absolutely right, because clearing affirmations, or denials, if you will, work really, really well. But in some cases, you may not have a belief that's standing in your way. For example, a young man or a young woman says, you know what, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to become a successful doctor. And so then their affirmation says, I am a successful doctor. Now, they have nothing in them that is standing in the way of that, because this is something they've always felt, always believed. So it's perfectly okay for that person to have that manifesting affirmation without worrying about some denial that has to go before it. So the two don't necessarily have to be in place.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I was just thinking, for a lot of people, though, like, I'll use money. A lot of people in the church have misquoted money scriptures. Yeah. Money is the root of all evil. It's easier for the camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. These things, because you learned it in church, it's not just what you heard on the street. It's what you heard from the pastor at the church and those people that you look up to, and they telling me what the Bible says. This is what God said, So that is in you. But then you're saying my debt is canceled, or I have more than enough, all these other, I have enough money to do all these things. But that whole money is the root of all evil is stuck there. Like, it's got to be clear.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Let me ask you a question, Raykel. Is that why church folk poor?
Yeah! That is one of the reasons why church folk are poor, because they have not learned from you to use clearing affirmation to use their, what is it? Clearing.
And they haven't read your book.
And they haven't read my book. Right? You're funny. Hey, so let's get into the book a little bit. Tell us about how to create an affirmation.
Well, that's a little bit of a process, but I will say that one of the most important things I could go on and on. Really great affirmations start with I am.
Okay.
Because whatever you say I am, God says yes.
Okay.
Because I am is God's name.
Yes. Okay.
So anytime you say I am, God says yes.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
In fact, God can't say no.
Because you said I am.
God can't say no because you are here to express God. So God is always going to say yes, no matter what direction you go in with your life. It's going to rain on the good and the so-called evil. Evil is just a term that means your thinking is wrong. That's all
right.
That means.
Yes.
So you want to start your affirmation with I am. What you also want to make sure you do is write your affirmation in the present tense. And this is probably the biggest help for a lot of people. So we'll go back to that affirmation we used a few minutes ago. All of my debts are paid. And immediately you have these feelings come up that say, well, no, my debts are not paid. That's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And what you have to understand is that when you are writing an affirmation, you're not talking about what's happening right now. Because what's happening right now is about to pass. All right, it already passed. It just went by. This moment is already passing.
Right.
So when you're writing your affirmations, you are setting up your tomorrows.
Mm-hmm.
You are in the process of creating what is to come.
Yeah.
So all of my debts are paid is about what's coming in my life. I'm creating this right now, and I'm using this affirmation as one of my tools of creation.
Wow. I like that.
And the final part, if I were to just give you three parts of the affirmation, and the final part is to be in gratitude, to be in joy, and to release it.
That's
when I say release it, I don't mean you'll never speak this affirmation again. No, you really want to speak it over and over again. But when I say release it, what I mean is you no longer have any doubt about it. Now that too, for most people, will take some work, and that's okay. Just keep working on it until all of that doubt is dissipated.
Right. That's good. So, Jack, if they want to get this book, how do they get it?
Real easy. Just go to my website, thescienceofaffirmations.com.
Thescienceofaffirmation.com.
And you can get a copy of the book. Yes.
How much is the book?
I believe the book is on the website right now for $14.95.
Okay.
It comes to you.
Go ahead.
You can also go on Amazon.
Amazon. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then they can look for the Science of Affirmations by Jack Roberts at Amazon, or they can go to your website,
Yes.
thescienceofaffirmations.com.
Yes.
That's awesome. I absolutely love what you said, and I think everything was great. But the one thing that's gonna stick with me for the rest of this year, and maybe throughout the decade, since it's being a new decade. If I say I am, God has to answer yes. Oh, that was good. That was good. That's a preach. Whenever you say I am, God has to say yes. And that's what basically affirmations are, us saying yes. So we say yes by saying the affirmation, and then we put I am, God says yes.
Wow. Yeah, when you say an affirmation, you're saying this is what I want.
Yeah.
Whether you really want it or not, but this is what you're saying.
Yes. And when
so
you
be,
put
careful.
God
be careful with your I am.
Yes.
Be careful with your I am. If you say I am broke,
Ooh.
God says yes.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Don't even go there.
Right. I don't say I am tired. Woo! That's another one.
Unless you're ready to go to bed.
Right. I love it.
I am tired should be followed by I'm about to go to bed.
Exactly. So you can get your rest. Right. I love it. That is so deep. And I hope that everybody out there listening is going to be blessed by what you said, and they're going to be making out their affirmations. They're going to do some clearing. They're going to do some, stable?
Centering.
And manifesting. So we are good to go for 2020. I think we're good to go for the next decade now, but definitely we are good to go for 2020 thanks to Jack Roberts. And if they want to hire you as a spiritual coach, how can they reach you?
Go on my website, thescienceofaffirmations.com. There is a contact us link on the website. Just put your information in there and I'll be glad to reach out to you. I'm happy to talk to you. I'm happy to answer your questions about affirmations as well.
Okay, everybody, you heard it. Jack Roberts said to reach out to him and he will answer some questions. It sounds like he will answer some questions before he charges you a fee. Maybe one question, and then you have to go ahead and hire him, because that's what coaches do. Spiritual coaches, they help us to move forward in our lives and to be better. So thank you so much. And for everybody out there listening, remember what God has done for others, he can do the same thing for you. Remember, watch what you put behind the statement, those two words, I am. Be blessed, everybody. Thank you.